Hey everyone, so I'm headed over to Semper K9 right now. They do have one beehive on their property that belongs to the founder of Semper K9. I'm going to go over and give them a hand, take a look at it to see if they made it through the winter. We'll be doing my bees later, if not this week, then next week. So stay tuned for the video with my bees. But we're going to go ahead and go give a hand to the founder of Semper K9. So we're out here at the Semper K9 campus. I'm going to take a walk up to his hive and see if I can see any activity. It's about 66 degrees outside right now, so they should have some kind of flying activity. As long as they're flying, we're going to go ahead and put our gear on, come set up the tripod, and take a look at them. Oh, I see a couple of them flying, so that's always a good sign. Oh yeah, looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the tripod, and we'll get over here, open this up, take a look at it. So I got my jacket. I do like to wear protective gear. Then I got my bucket of goodies. So in my bucket of goodies is my smoker, 2 hive tools. This is just in there by accident. A lighter, a little bit of cardboard. I like, if I have to use any kind of tape, I don't like duct tape, I like this aluminum foil tape. And then I have some mite away strips from this fall. So we're gonna go ahead and get the smoker started up. I have some cardboard and plenty of dry leaves around here to do that with. So let's go ahead and get that smoker started. We'll suit up and then open the hive and see how well they're looking. Alright, so we got our smoker going. I don't like to wear the big thick gloves. I can't feel it. It's hard to grip the frame sometimes. So I like to just wear a pair of regular gloves. It doesn't protect you from stings by any means. It just helps keep my hands clean from the propolis and honey. So this way when I'm done, I just take the gloves off. I can put them in my bucket. And then when I get home, I'll throw them away. So get our gloves on. We got our smoker going, as you can see here. So we're going to go ahead, close that up, put that aside. Very smart, he has the strap down, so any strong wind or anything, the lid won't be coming off. So let's go ahead and take that lid off, or the strap off, so we can take the lid off. And we're not going to take it completely off, we're just going to set it aside. Now, you want to let the bees know that you're coming, so it's nice just to give them a little smoke. Just to let them know, hey. And then I like to open it up and puff inside the lid. And then I put that down so that can sit in there for a second. Alright, so now that we have smoked it and we've let it sit for a minute, we'll go ahead and make sure we're good, puff it up. And we're going to go ahead and take the lid off. And it's nice to take this lid and you set it upside down over to the side. That way, if you need to put anything in there, you got a nice clean surface. So I like to use this tool. It's got the hook so you can pop frames off easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this lid off. The other lid is called your outer lid, and this is called your inner lid. Now, these look like Italian bees. It's hard to tell right off the bat. Good, nice cluster on the top right now. Again, it's 66 degrees outside, so it's not too cold to be opening this up. My smoker seems to be a little weak right now, but they're pretty mellow. You never want to pull a frame off that's right in the middle with the bees on it. That way, if you do that, they could be rolling over on each other. So you want to start from one way work your way down, and you'll see I'll pop the frames and I'll pull them down towards the other side. Now I don't know how much this hive was fed for the winter. I don't know how it was winterized. The box is a little wobbly, no problem there. We can straighten that up. A couple of my boxes are wobbly as well. It happens with the wood swelling. So what he's using here, which is perfectly fine, I have some of these. This is black plastic foundation, and it has the grid already impressed into it. So that helps the bees build it off of there. So this is actually called Bur Comb, and Bur Comb is where they build it not flat. They want to build it out like a bulb. So we're going to go ahead and take that Bur Comb off for them and throw that off to the side. We'll take all the chunk of combs with us so they don't get pests around here. But you want to discourage that as much as possible. So we're going to take this frame. Oh sure, my smoke's now smoking nicely. But we're going to set that over on our clean box lid. Now there will be dead bees in here from the winter. If you see them, you can go ahead and pluck them and throw them out if you want. If not, the bees themselves will take it out. And then there's our queen actually right there. So here's a good drawn out frame of comb. There is no food, no honey in it. So we'll go ahead and set that one aside as well. And then now we're going to go ahead and take a look at all these. So it looks like we're going to have to start feeding this hive. My hives I need to start feeding as well. It's no big deal. It's the spring. You want to give them a good boost. So we do like to give them a nice quick feeding of sugar water. Just good old-fashioned white sugar and then water. You mix that together, you melt it down, and you feed that to them just for a little bit to get them wanting to get up and get out and look for their own food source. Once there's a full bloom going on, you discontinue your feeding and you let them gather it naturally that way. Now when they're stuck together like this, you don't want to pry on it too much because you could break the connection point. So I like to take my tool and wiggle it in between there. And that because they put propolis on there, and propolis is wonderful, wonderful bee glue. So here they are. They're moving a little slow, they're a little chilly a little bit. When I say chilly, I mean, you know, it is 66 degrees, but they like to keep the hive in the 90 degrees. So once we close this back up, they will be jiggling their bodies, moving their wings, vibrating themselves to raise the temperature back up to what they lost. That's why you don't want to open it up in anything below 60 degrees, because then they have to work too hard to bring it back up. So we have a pest in here, and it's called the small hive beetle, and I dealt with that like crazy last year with my hives, and it looks like there's no difference here. They are full of little small hive beetles. So they have so many in here, which is a common thing to come out like this, to have hive beetles. And I'll see if I can get one out for you. There we go. That's a small hive beetle. And that little booger, what it does is it'll lay an egg inside the hive, and it'll turn into a larva. It'll hatch, and the larva is what does the damage to the hive, not the beetle itself. The larva will work its way through the hive, eating all its food stores, destroying the wax, and leaving like a silk trail behind it. And that destroys all the honey that they have in there. And by destroying the honey, the bees don't want to live there. So they will either swarm away, they'll abscond from the hive, or they will try to stay there and fight the beetles. But if it's too heavy of an infestation and they can't fight them, then unfortunately they will die. So what we're going to do, every time you see one, you go ahead and just squish it. You know, I know you got to make careful that you don't squish a bee. I once had a hive, just this last year, one of my hives, in one box alone, I found over 50 hive beetles. There's over 20 of them on one frame alone. So that's not something we want them to be dealing with. So we're just checking them over. Oh, I see a hive beetle hanging out over there. Let's go ahead and smush it. So we're gonna go ahead. Tomorrow I'll bring Chris over some sugar water mixture and a hive top feeder. We'll put that on his hive. That way, these bees, hi sweetie, you're on my thumb. I don't want to squish you. Even the beetles are a little cold right now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close this back up. So we'll close that up. Hey YouTube, so it's day 2 out here at Semper K9. I brought with me today a frame of half capped honey and half uncapped honey. So I'm going to give that to these bees. That way they have something ready to rock and roll they can start eating on. As well as I brought out a feeder with some sugar water so I can put on top of there so they can actually start pulling that down and putting it into the cells. By giving them sugar water, not only does it give them food, but it helps them drive out the small hive beetles. Small hive beetles want to occupy the cells in there to lay their eggs. Well, if the honeybees are putting the sugar water in there, there's no place for the bees to live and they're evicted. So we're going to go ahead and open up the hive now. And you can see they're a little lethargic. That has to do a little bit with the cold and a little bit with probably they're hungry. I want to try to go ahead and put the frame right here in the middle. This is the most concentration of the bees. So this is the frame that I'll be putting in there. Alright everyone, hanging out here in the greenhouse for a brief minute before I head back inside. Sorry I cut you off at Semper K9. The founder came out and I wanted to talk to him, so I went ahead and just turned the camera off. But we got the beehive finished being set up. You saw me place a frame of honey in there. Then I put the rest of the frames back in there and put the hive top feeder on. His hive's good to go. We'll check it here in a few days, see if they're drinking from the hive top feeder. My last of my seeds came in today, which is really awesome. So you'll be seeing me out here in the greenhouse getting those planted and get them ready so they can start growing and we can stick them out in the garden this spring. So if you have any interest in growing vegetables or just how I do it, those videos are coming up here shortly. So I do appreciate everyone tuning in, joining me on this trip. So this was the first of many bee videos. That's just one property that I've visited. That's not my beehive. I'm just helping out the founder of Semper K9. I will be placing 10 beehives, like I said in a previous video, this video right here, that I will be placing beehives on Semper K9. So those videos will be coming this spring or summer. But then I'll also take you around to the other properties where I have my other beehives. And I'll introduce you to my ladies here on my property. So thank you very much for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like this video, leave me a comment. I know I sound like a broken record. I keep saying leave me a comment, leave me a comment, leave me a comment. Well, apparently that's how YouTube likes to do their algorithm, is how many comments a video is getting. So please just drop me a comment in there, tell me I'm doing great. Tell me like, hey, you need to do something, I don't know. But then go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. Spring and summer's on its way, so the video should be getting more interesting with me doing random stuff outside versus me just doing the basic few things over and over and over again. So thank you very much, everyone. Remember, stay motivated. Ooh, the wind's picking up. Let's see. Let's wait until the wind dies down for a second. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully. I'm headed over to... Here I go again.